I'm going to present in our class the psychosocial development, a theory created by Erickson, sometimes in 1938. This theory probably is the most detailed psychological concept that covers the entire human development, human existence. Erickson never have a formal college education, but he just happened to be in the right place, meeting the right person, Anna Freud, the daughter of the great Sigmund Freud, who, like her father, promote the uh, psychoanalysis. You uh, always working towards the subconscious and the development of the person, like the oral stage, anal stage, and the puberty, the adolescence. So Erickson's theory really has its roots from Sigmund Freud and Anna Freud. But to me, this is the most detailed, that it even makes me reflect on my own. And I hope you can reflect also tonight. This is really like a journey to self discovery and self awareness. Very interesting and very relevant and very practical because it is directly connected to us. The number one stage um, is by presented is the trust and versus mistrust. He labeled is this way, that at birth, usually from age 0, D1 to 18 months, from D1 to 18 months or 1.5 years, the little infant will face this kind of crisis, whether he will be trusting or mistrusting. This is the very first stage. It is said, according to Erickson, for instance, if the baby will cry, is someone coming to see the baby? If there's a consistent presence of an adult or caregiver, whenever the baby cry, the baby will be comforted, will be touched, and check whether the diaper is wet, and that she is okay, he is okay, and have the food, the milk he needs. That every time he cry, adult presence is always there. Instantly, he will develop that sense of trust. On the other hand, when a child will cry and attention or care will be delayed, there's no instant presence of an adult or a caregiver, he will develop that stage called mistrust. This is very crucial because this will affect even the later stages of his life. If a little baby have all the love, surrounded by love and attention at the day of birth till age 18 months or 1.5 years, this baby will most likely will develop a very strong self-esteem, confidence, and hope. While those who did not get very good attention will tend to develop stress, anxiety, and prone to depression. That's why my style of counseling is I don't just dwell at the present. Even if I'm counseling a 50-year-old person, I always look back to the past, because in the past, that's when we can see where did things go wrong. Like somebody who is depressed and everything is okay already at present, have a job, have a family, have a car, have a nice house, but still depressed. So I go back, and it turned out always that in the early childhood, that's when the problem starts. It's like if the first level there's already a problem, it may affect the second level. If if the first level is not satisfied, if his the need of the child is not met, the second level also will be affected. So I the way I look at people right now, like confident or uh, unassured of oneself, shy, there is always that connection from the early stage of their life. So for Eric Erickson, that's it. The very first crisis that a child has to go through is that trust versus mistrust, and he will develop the basic value of hope. This is from. Is there anyone there, Brother John, who could probably put in the PowerPoint? Like can can do a live feed, maybe Neil or Sheila. I'm sorry because you are always the one. I would say you're always the convenient one to ask, because you are really good with this. But in case somebody can do that, the first stage number one, is trust and mistrust. It's okay. So number two is autonomy versus shame. You know, this is from the age 1 to age 3. Autonomous versus shame. Um, the uh, the thing here is autonomy versus shame, and doubt is the second stage of Eric Erickson stages of psychosocial development. The stage occurs between the ages of 18 months to approximately 3 years. According to Erickson here, children at this stage are focused on developing a sense of personal control over physical skills and a sense of independence. So 1 to 3, this is really true. Diyan kasi mag-umpisang matuto ang bata na maglakad. You know, uh, diyan the child will start to learn to walk. And then sometimes we teach our children at that age, 1 year old, how to walk by holding their hands. And slowly the child can already stand by his own and kind of walking, not, he doesn't have the physical coordination yet. The balance is not very good. So this is what we have to be careful, because at this stage, we want to protect him. We don't want the child to fall. I saw parents, a lot of parents like that. Oh, matumba ang bata. Ganyan. Oh, ano to? The child will fall. Be careful. Everybody becomes so concerned. And even the tone of their voices, oh, bantay natin siya. Baka matumba. But there are parents who allow their kids to fall and then stand up again. This is a very important stage. Like, if you can remember your childhood 1 to 3, how you were treated, if you can still remember that. I know a lot cannot, but it is embedded. It is encoded in our subconscious. If what we hear is, okay, come on, kaya mo yan, anak. Okay, wow. If there is reinforcement, there is clapping. Yoo-hoo! When the child starts to walk like parang lasing, di ba? Yung bata na maliit, parang lasing, hindi masyadong coordinated, pero we praise the child. Oh, talaga, ang galing ng baby. Ang galing ng anak ko, marunong ng malakad. Napakaganda yan. That will develop the so-called autonomy. Actually, independence starts from right there. We are talking about independence. When the child will start to learn to walk by his own. On the other hand, being overprotective as parents will cause, instead of autonomy, will cause shame. So the second level, the second stage number 2 is autonomy versus shame. Brother John, hello? Okay.
Yes,
So I hope you are okay. Kung mayroong pwede dyan maglagay ng PowerPoint na live, yon. Number 2 level is autonomy versus shame. Baka may maka-feedback din kasi very important ito. Alam ko hindi ito theory lang. Mangyayari ito. How do you raise your kids? How do you raise your kids that way? Are you more of a trusting parent? Do you allow your child to fall and then stand up again, or you are so overprotective? We are not judging anybody here, but just to reflect back on how we deal with our kids. I hope we can also remember how we are being treated when we were young. Kasi, ay, delikado, matumba. I think we have common sense. Kung nasa malapit ng highway, talagang hawakan natin yan. Pero if the place is safe, na mayroon yung parang kahoy ang sahig, o mayroon ba siyang foam, mayroon ba siyang carpet, it's okay. It's okay. That's a very good way, according to Erickson. The child will, at very early age, will learn autonomy. When there's autonomy, there is self, a very good sense of self. Kaya yung self-confidence, mag-umpisa na dito. The child will feel so good that he learns to walk. He can do it on his own. Pero yung child na overprotective tayo, like say, ay, kawawa mo ta. Huwag kang punta dyan. Delikado dyan. Ma-develop ang shame. Mahiyain yung bata. Kaya I hope mayroon bang mahiyain sa atin? Maring mayroon. Ako medyo mahiyain ako. Baka ganun ang pag-handle sa akin noon. Only we can, the thing with Erickson is on the later part of our lives, we may go back and correct and change our so-called our the neurolinguistics. Babaguhin natin ang ating pag-iisip about these things. Pero alam ko kayong nakikinig ngayong gabi, either sa dalawa kayo, or it could be mixed na. Mayroon kayong mga parents or adult, lolo at lola ba na okay lang. Umiyak yung bata, okay lang. Kaya mo yan. You stand on your own feet. I like that. I like to see those kind of parents. I like to see those kind of grandparents are very grabe ang kita na the environment nurture, the environment is dynamics, which I believe mas malaki ang impact sa role ng environment at tao in making who we are. Yan, in making who we are. Kaya pag mayroong naglalapit sa akin, Brad, mahiya kasi ako, Brad. So I go back to the past. Maalala mo ba ang first time na na-feel mo yan? Na-experience mo yan, nahiya ka? So we go back to that point, okay? So makita na din sa age, ang ma-develop dito, okay? Kung mayroon kayong kategory, ito ang stage 2. Ulitin ko pala, ang stage 1, lagyan nyo ng parang column stage and then 1. And then sa itaas naman ng itong development, sa itaas, psychosocial crisis at yung Sana hindi lang ako marunong sa mga purpose versus mistra. Pangatlo yung what are the basic value learned, third column. Hope. Hope yung sa unang level. Sa pangalawa, ang ma-develop and ang will. Totoo nga yan. Yung mga batang very strong ang kailangang will, yung the children whose ego are being strengthened. Maganda ang kailangang self-esteem because they are allowed to explore, they are allowed to fall and then stand up again. At ang age level nito is 1 to 3. Okay? Titingnan ko mo kung mapadala ni Jumari Moya, mas marunong to siya, no? Itong mga different categories upang mayroon kayong notes. Okay. Ma-recorded dyan. Okay? You can ask question anytime. Okay, sino ba? Sino bang my parents or you are a parent who believe on the so-called autonomy, who allow your kids to learn in their own, to walk in their own, and then allow your kids to fall and stand up again. And then praise your kids for doing so. Or on the other hand, you're a parent na protective, na ayaw mong masaktan ang bata. At saka laging sabihin, huwag, no, no, no. So that will be recorded in his mind, itong no lagi. That will end up na ang bata ay magiging mahiyain. So the third stage is initiative versus guilt. This will happen at the age 3 to 5. 3 to 5. Initiative versus guilt. So itong label na ito, initiative versus guilt, ay sabihin natin it is the third stage of Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. So actually during this initiative versus guilt stage, children assert themselves more frequently through directing, play, and other social interaction. So this is the time for them play is very important, and that social interaction. So these are particularly this is called, tinawag ito na rapid developing years in a child's life. It's a time of vigor of action and of behaviors that the parents see as aggressive. Kung saan, ito kasi ang pinaka-lively na period, itong pangatlo, na full of action. Very active ang bata. Laro, and then interact with other kids, na maaaring ang the child will even start to fight with other kids, na ma-interpret ito ng parents na aggressive behavior. Itong stage na ito, itong tinatawag na initiative versus guilt. During this period, the primary feature, itong panahon ito, involves the child regularly talking, interacting with other children at school. So, kaya ito anong panahon nitong 3 to 5, umpisa na sila sa nursery or kindergarten. Central to the stage is play. Play is very important on the stage. And dito nila madidevelop at ang interpersonal skills. An opportunity to explore their interpersonal skills. Children begin to plan activities. Itong mga bata nito, 3 to 5, mayroon na silang initiative na mag-usap. Maya maglaro tayo ng rubber band, maglaro tayo ng bahay-bahayan, balay-balay, sabihin na siya pa, magluluto tayo, ang linuluto pa yung mga dirt, Parang mayroon siyang maliit na kaldero, yung cans. Linuto-luto nila doon. Ako naalala ko yan. Ganitong age. So meron ako memory. Yung mga alikabok or buhangin, ilagay namin sa can and then we pretend na luto. Gagawa kami ng yung mga dahon ng niyog na tuyo. Gagawin naming bahay-bahayan. O ano ba yun? Bahay-bahayan ba yan sa Tagalog? Basta balay-balay na sa Binisaya. So, in these periods, the period of initiative will take place. Kung the parents are supported, what will happen is a strong sense of initiative will be developed in the child. But if the parents are critical, always criticizing, no, marurumihan kayo dyan. No. Laging sabihin, huwag kayo dyan. No. No, baka mayroong mga langgam dyan. Ang madidevelop sa bata, hindi initiative kung hindi guilt. Guilt ang mangyayari. So, sa ganitong panahon, when their initiative is being squelched, either through criticism or control, pag masyadong controlling at critical ang parents na, ikaw, madudumikan ka na naman dyan. Mapangos na sab ka. Magkaroon ka ng sugat na naman sa iyong knee. The child, what will happen? The child will develop a sense of guilt. It is at the stage that the child will begin to ask many questions. Itong time na ito sa initiative versus guilt, this is the period where the child will ask anything under the sun. Because they don't have a concept yet. There is like the expression called tabula rasa. Their brain is still like a white sheet. It's a white sheet na wala pang nakasulat. They will ask anything, magtanong, bakit ba masyadong dilaw yung dahon ng kahoy? Or bakit ba lumilipad yung paru-paro? Bakit ba lumilipad yung eroplano? So, this is the time that they ask so many questions. And if the parents are already tired from jobs or irritated, wala sa mood, maring he missed this opportunity because this is a time where we can really introduce a lot of knowledge to the child. Sabi nga, bakit ba, or tanungin, sumisan, saan ba galing ang baby? Mga ganun na tanong, kahit anything under the sun they will ask. Saan ba galing ang kalabaw? So, this is a stage where they will ask so many questions. If the parents here treat the child's question as trivial or nuisance or embarrassing, or other aspects of their behavior as threatening, then the child may have feelings of guilt for being nuisance. Sabi, storbo ka. Meron ako nanood ako dito ng news. Tanong ka. That is for me, that is very, very sad. I have witnessed parents like those. Na instead na encourage kausapin, too much guilt can make the child slow to interact with others and may inhibit their creativity. Kung marami na silang guilt, kaya ang ibang bata parang lethargic, parang walang gana, yun. Hindi yun accident, wala yan sa dugo. Hindi yan genetics. It is because of the environment. It is because how they are treated by the adults. So, of course, the child also needs to have some control. Maybe some amount of guilt. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of purpose, while failure results in a sense of guilt. Okay? So itong stage na ito, itong pangatlo, dito na-develop yung value, yung sense of purpose. So sa una na stage yung hope, pangalawa yung will, ito naman ang purpose. Sige lang, we'll try our best to send it your way. Itong aking notes, ito na mga category. Okay, so sa age na 3 to 5 ito. Ang pang-apat na stage according to Erickson, stage 4, industry versus inferiority. Industry versus inferiority. Na if the child will develop that industry, the value he would learn is the feeling of competence. Pero kung hindi, ang feeling niya inferiority. So, inferiority. Children at that stage on this stage where they will be learning to read and write. Itong sa number 4. Kasi age 1 to eh. Age, tinawag sa akin notes, age 5 to 12 years. Okay? 5 to 12 years old. Mahaba na stage between 5 to 12. They will learn to read and write, to do sums like math, to do things on their own. Teachers begin to take an important role in the child's life as they teach the child specific skills. So dito na time talaga na malaki ang role na ng mga teachers doon sa school. Pero dapat ang mga parents sa mga unang stage na paghalaga ang kanilang sabi natin willful and decisive influence para sa kanilang mga anak. Itong industry, sinasabi ko na kanina, na matuto ang bata na gagawa ng bagay sa ng sarili. Naalala ko pala, nung makita ko, ang struggle ko talaga, yung pagtali ng aking sapatos. Yung bang, liston ba yan sa Tagalog? Yung pagtali ng sapatos, nahirapan ako dyan. Hanggang 7 years old. Ang nanay ko pa ang nagtali hanggang 8 years old. Pero nang nag-9 na ako, at least na-covered pa ako kasi 5 to 12 to eh. Nang nag-9 ako, natuto na ako. It makes me feel so good na kaya ko na ako na mismo ang nagtali ng aking sapatos. Yan. Natagalan ako dyan na banda. Iwan ko ba kung bakit. Baka symbolism yun na ayaw kong magpatali kaagad. Kaya nakaabot ako, Bro John, ng 30 years old or 31 years old bago akong nag-asawa. So baka yun ang symbolism. But the point is, lahat sa atin may mga ganun tayong experience na sabi natin na this is very relevant to us. Ito ang ma-develop natin dito, ang feeling of competence. Competent tayo na kaya natin between 5 to 12. It's good for the child to have that. Encourage them. They have to learn to read and write. They have to learn skills. Naalala ko pala, at the very first time that the child learned to walk, tingnan nyo, subconsciously, ang direction ng bata, palapit ba sa inyo o palayo? By nature, pag matutong maglakad yung anak palayo, gusto siyang magpalayo, gusto niyang mag-explore. Yan. So, ito ang yata ang sabihin nating, is it freak of nature or this is really showing na gano'n talaga ang buhay. Magiging independente yung mga bata. Punta tayo sa stage 5. Identity versus role confusion. From 12 to 18. Ito na ang tinatawag na adolescent years. In fact, Erickson is the one who come up with the concept of identity crisis. Itong panahon na ito. Itong identity crisis. Sabi na during ito ang tinatawag na the adolescent years. Itong 12 to 18. It is identity versus role confusion. The fifth stage of Erickson's theory of psychosocial development is identity versus role confusion. During this stage, adolescents search for a sense of self and personal identity. Dito na, nung earlier age, earlier level, hindi sila concerned sa ganon. Pero itong time na ito from 12 to 18, para sila importante na yung sino ba ako? And through an intense exploration of personal values, beliefs, and goals. Dito siya mag-i-explore. During adolescence, the transition from childhood to adulthood is most important. Ito kasi ang pinaka-junction. Ito ang pinaka-transition between childhood at adulthood, itong adolescent. Kaya sinasabi, this is the most turbulent years. Children are becoming more independent and begin to look at the future. Gusto na yung privacy. Gusto na isara yung pinto. Gusto na hindi pakialaman ang kanilang cellphone kung sino ang kanilang mga friends o anong website ang kanilang tinitingnan. Yan ang mga mangyari. And begin to look at the future in terms of career, relationships, families, housing, etc. Mag-isip din sila, ano ba ang gusto kong trabaho? Ano ang gusto kong major ng college? The individual wants to belong to a society and fit in. Noong una, sa pamilya lang. Pangalawa, sa kanyang mga kaibigan. Ito yung how he will fit to the entire society. Dito na mag-umpisa yung mga feeling niyon sa ating adolescent years. Totoo nga, when I was, I think, 13 or 12, nag-isip na ko na balang araw gusto kong magiging, at first talaga gusto ko sundalo. Yan. Gusto ko sa army. Kaya ngayon, ang dami gusto maging pulis. Parang sabi natin, baka 7 out of 10 gusto nila criminology, gusto magpulis. So anyway, iba ang panahon ngayon. O gusto kong magiging teacher nung araw. Hindi pa ko sure. Pero army talaga. Pagkatapos, hindi pala yun ang binigay ng Panginoon. Pero the point is, dito tayo mag-umpisa to be serious about what we want to do. What do we want to become of ourselves? Yan. The adolescent mind is essentially a mind of moratorium, according to Erickson, a psychosocial stage between childhood and adulthood, and between the morality learned by the child and the ethics to be developed by the adult. Yeah. So, very important time of our lives. This is also the time that we will define our rules. We are very concerned to learn the roles that we will occupy as an adult. There's a guy named, a psychologist named B in 1992 who said, what should happen at the end of this stage is a reintegrated sense of self, of what one wants to do or be, and of one's appropriate sex. Nagbabago ang kanyang katawan. Hormones are kicking in. Developing of some So for the women, it's the development of the breast. The men, the change of the voice, the muscles, and here also is very crucial because they have to. This is the time that they started uh, going into what sexual orientation they will have. I think this is when some started to really see that they are straight, they are really men, and the women really women. But some would feel that they are uh, gay or lesbian. Very interesting time. These adolescent years from 12 to 18. So ganito at this stage, it should be identity versus role confusion. Dito yung sabi natin confused yung iba. We don't have to be judgmental to them. We need to help them pag they are confused. But the child who has a very consistent nurturing from stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it would be very easy for them to navigate their lives in stage 5. And then what will be developed in stage 5 is the value of fidelity. Fidelity means trust, fidelity, or being reliable. The number 6 is intimacy versus isolation. Intimacy versus isolation. This is from the age 18 to 40. That's why this is the time that they started having boyfriend and girlfriend. They want intimacy, personal intimacy. They have best friend, but really more of the opposite sex. Boyfriend, girlfriend. And the time that they started 18 to 40, that's the time that they would settle down, get married. Because of that need to belong to someone, the belongingness, the intimate relationship. So according to Erickson, and this is the value that will be developed is love. But those who have a problem during the earlier stage, it will be isolation. So intimacy versus isolation. Intimacy this stage takes place during young adulthood between the ages of approximately 18 to 40 years. During this stage, the major conflict centers on forming intimate, loving relationship with other people. Dito na. Kaya mag-asawa, others, they become isolated. They don't function, I would say, in a healthy way, because in the early stages there are already problems to begin with, maybe, and they never have enough attention. There is guilt, there is shame, and it's just hard. There's depression, stress, and they do not really develop a strong trust to other people. So that would happen. And in this stage, uh, during this stage, we begin to share ourselves more intimately with others. We explore relationships leading toward longer term. Kaya ito, gaya ng marriage, yan, longer term commitments with someone other than a family member. Yan. Itong stage na ito. Successful completion of the stage can result in happy relationships and a sense of commitment, safety, and care within our relationship. Avoiding intimacy. There are people who just I would say, resist. They don't want intimacy. Deferred commitments and relationships can lead to isolation and loneliness. So it looks like if you have a problem with earlier stage, it will affect the latter stage also. That's why there are people who really need help, need counseling, need to change their perspective, and it's not that easy. It's not that easy. We wish we all grew up in a very ideal family. We wish we have parents who are very nurturing, supportive, and allow us to make mistakes, allow us to explore, allow us to be independent, allow us to believe in ourselves. But this is not happening to all people. So Erickson was correct. And what the value that is being developed here is the value of love. Okay, love from 18 to 40. The number 7 is generativity, like from the word generate, generativity versus uh, stagnation from age 40 to 65. I'm thinking about myself. I'm 63. Am I in the generativity or stagnation? I think Brother John is in generativity, having um, uh, great programs going on from the Kasandal, the CPTI, the Dreamland. That's generativity, and leading a group of wonderful men and women in this like classes and everything. But the stagnant ones, the sad thing is this: those are the so-called people who just decide to retire. All they do is watching TV, eat breakfast, go to the market, and then come back. That is only a sign of stagnation. I'm so glad that at 63, I have just traveled 12 provinces. I My feeling is still the same. I have a lot of hope and positive and optimism to help other people through counseling, through seminars, and planting churches. I said, wow, I did not even know that before. But when I read Erickson, wow, I am glad that I'm doing this. I don't want to be stagnant. So from the age 40 to 65, and the value learned here is care. Okay? So I don't think we will retire, Brother John. Will you retire? Uh, I might give you free lection if you don't retire. If you retire, I don't. I don't want to be there. Okay, I'm just joking. But the
No.
point is, no, we don't retire. I think we'll stop living if we retire, right? So
Right.
we are. This is the stage now between 40 to 65 that without, like I said, we don't even know this until I read closely yesterday. I said, wow, I'm so glad that we are still very active. You know, no wonder why people who do this on the generativity side are more healthier, are more happier. We can be tired. Yes, we are. We can be tired visiting churches, teaching classes, like walking to the dreamland. But I believe when you walk to the dreamland, where you reach there, you will have a fresh, a new sense of energy. That's just amazing. So Erickson is smart. He's a genius. Now, what's the last stage? The last stage number 8. It is ego integrity versus despair. Wow. Ego integrity versus despair covers age 65 and and above, whatever age you will survive and you live, okay? But it starts from age 65. Ego integrity versus despair is the eighth and final stage of Erickson's stage theory of psychosocial development. This stage, and I will quote directly, begins at approximately age 65 and ends at death. It is during this time that we contemplate our accomplishments and can develop integrity if we see ourselves as leading a successful life. Wow. We may not be very successful in terms of money, but we need to be very successful doing the Lord's work, leading the Lord's work. So we are so blessed. If we serve the Lord, we are so blessed. We are so blessed. That's it. Leaving it, the ego, the self integrity versus despair. Individuals who reflect on their life and regret not achieving their goals will experience feelings of bitterness and despair. Okay? So, wow. Most of us are not on the stage yet. Okay? Brother John, I think we are not on the stage yet. But 2 years from now, we might. Okay? But we are so glad that it's not bragging, but we are busy. We are just so blessed. We are busy doing the Lord's work, not regretting what could have been. I don't want that. We don't want that. That's why years ago we have goals. Like, for instance, let me share to you. My goal on 1997 is to go to all the capital cities without a church. And then lead a team of men and women to help me evangelize. 1997, there were, um, as I counted, out of 75 capital cities, because we have 75 provinces, only 31 have churches of Christ. That means 44 are virtually untouched. So I said, let's go to these places and plant churches one by one. Through God's mercy, we are now down to 4. Around 40 has been planted. It's not just me and the team who planted that, the Moses team. No. Maybe we are responsible about 29 or 30. The rest are planted by others who have seen maybe or heard about what we're doing. But the thing is, that's my ultimate goal really in my life. And I might be going to Batanes, Basco on March. I'll see if I can bring a little team. It's very expensive, the fare there, but and also San Jose Antique, and then the capital of Davao, the Oro Nabunturan. Answers, no, okay. Calapan, Mindoro, it keeps coming back to me, and I don't know exactly what's going on there. But my goal is to go there on 2025. That will be exactly 100 years from the time that the first church was planted on 1925 by Brother George Benson. If there's no clear evidence that the mainstream church that we believe in, the church in the Bible, is really present there, then we better do something on 2021. That's just my point. You know, it's good to die a happy man. Not just happy in this world, but happy in the Lord. Goals on this ego integrity. What is it that we really want? It's not what others want, but what is it that we really want? The nice thing with us Christian, when you say what we really want, the Lord is always the number one consideration. You know, so and then that's it. It might be quite vague right now. I might be struggling with some of the words just to present these 8 stages, but let me tell you, these are very incisive. These are very enlightening. If you may do a little more reading yourself, because This can even help us reflect which stage where I am struggling, that I need to go back and pray and try to, to, to experience forgiveness. Okay? This is another, I will use this a lot in counseling, because how about on the stage where we are not treated right? That we became ashamed. We are filled with guilt. When I, who are the people who treated me this way, that I have the feeling of inferiority, that I have role confusion, that I am isolated. You know, I'm depressed. I'm stressed. That I'm in. We don't want the last two stages. You know, don't be in a situation. No matter what you do, my brother and sister who are listening right now, don't be in that. Don't be in that uh, place. That it's a scary place. The place of stagnation. Be generative. Get busy. No matter how old are you. If you are 40, 65, get busy. Have a goal. Have a purpose. Okay? Let me repeat the 8 stages: trust versus mistrust, autonomy, second one, versus shame, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority, identity versus role confusion, 12, age 12 to 18, intimacy versus isolation, age 18 to 40, generativity versus stagnation, age 40 to 65, and ego integrity versus despair, age 65 until death. Okay? So don't you all worry. Well, I will ask Jumari here to send this to the Kasandal, this little outline. Okay? Is there any question that is saludsud, or maybe as you listen to this, you had been reflecting in your own, your struggle may be unique. Your struggle may even enlighten a lot of us tonight, because the thing is, um, it's dynamic. Usually, being with a group, being in a class, it's dynamic. Whether we will encourage people, we can stimulate people. So, do you have anything to share to us tonight? Do Are these 8 stages making sense? Are these realistic? Are these relevant? Or this is just a theory? What do you think? Do you have any question?
Question. Uh, by the way, bro, I have written in the PowerPoint the eight stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is shown in the screen.
Okay. The 8 stages, nasulat niyo dyan?
Oo,
Very
nasulat
good.
sa screen.
Okay.
PowerPoint lang.
Stage 1, tama. Pati yung mga age.
Oo, gamay.
Okay. But how about yung core, yung mga values niya, yung hope, will. Okay.
Dili kompleto. It's not complete.
Ibigay ko ha yung sa first stage, trust versus mistrust, hope,
Yes.
ang autonomy versus shame, will,
Will. Okay.
ang
Got that.
initiative versus guilt, purpose,
Yep.
industry versus inferiority, competence, identity versus role confusion, fidelity, intimacy versus isolation, ito, love,
Love.
generosity versus stagnation, care, and then ego, integrity versus despair, wisdom. Yan. Napakaganda. The way Erickson organized this. But
Again,
like
bro,
I said, there
what is developed in number 7, generativity?
care. It's
Care.
like care.
Okay, I got that. Complete.
Complete now. It's amazing. There's no, that's why many psychologists said, there's nothing new. All they did was just to define, to organize, to make things clearer. These things already pre-exist. A lot of these are even in the Bible, you know. So, and a lot are experience. Eric Erickson based this on his experience. Could you imagine? By the way, was something I will add so that you would appreciate him. Eric Erickson grew up without a father. He is like a son of a single mother. He doesn't even know who his father is. You know, so all his life he has to deal with the feeling of inadequacy. Even his children, they are very good. His children are they are great. One of the best sociologists in the US. One is a psychoanalyst, and the psychoanalyst even said that my father has been always battling with the feeling of inadequacy. That something is not complete. I'm not good enough. Could you imagine that? You know, so that makes his story more realistic. Later on, his mother uh, was married a doctor who wanted him to be a doctor, but they said no. Yes, but could you imagine? He was growing up and he was always teased because he was blonde with blue eyes. That you are just a jerk, you know, you don't belong here, something like that. So he's been through that, you know, the criticism and stuff. Like he doesn't fit, he doesn't belong. So that's Eric Erickson. You know, to me, it's good to know the background of the psychologist so we can appreciate better. But I saw a black and white interview. He seems to be a very humble person, very smart. Okay, so nandiyan na Brother John lahat, ano? Okay? Sa
Yes.
bless. Oo. Blessing din na hindi ako marunong sa PowerPoint. Minsan kasi pag walang ano, mas lalong ma-reinforce ang learning. Learning will be strengthened dahil you will double your effort kasi wala ngang PowerPoints eh. And then you come up with your own PowerPoint para bang gano'n eh. That's yun naman sa ating principle of teaching eh. Kailangan more senses should be used. Yan. So maganda, blessing din yun. So are there, mayroon bang mga tanong sa mga, ilan tayo lahat ngayong gabi? 9 or?
15, 15.
Good.
1-5,
So
yes.
once again, I apologize na katagal na nating hindi nagklase mula pa ng Christmas. Pero sige lang, patuloy lang. And then, they want me also to teach, I think, psychology, but it's going to be live face-to-face in Southern Mindanao Bible College. What I teach to you all, I will teach in 1 week, morning and afternoon. I hope that could be possible. So yun ang pinusapan natin, Virgil, na ito bang stage number 7, ano? Generativity.
Oh,
Para mas lalo tayong naging, ngayong mas matanda na tayo, mas lalo pa tayong naging busy, which is good. I'm happy. I'm happy. Uh, Maganda ang pakiramdam. So kung mayroong tanong or clarification or you have something to share, magtanong ko, do you think mayroon ba tayong, ano to, nangyayari ba sa atin ito? Do we fit to some of these stages? Yan. Or which stage na pinaka-strong sa atin? At which stage na weak? Na nasa side ako ng confusion o sa
Brother
side
Ryan,
ng
naka-unmute,
guilt.
Brother Ryan.
O,
May question po ako, kapatid na Richard.
sino po ito, kapatid?
Si Brother Ryan po.
Okay. Kumusta, bro?
Mabuti po ang lahat. Salamat
Okay.
po. Medyo talagang related tayo sa mga tinalakay po natin, especially dito po sa number 7.
Ano, sinabi?
So yung stages na kumbaga iba-bracket ko yung age ko, nandito yung classifications.
Oo.
Nabanggit niyo po kanina, bro, yung we should get busy. I don't know if you are familiar with one of the kilala po ngayon sa social media na tawag dito isang psychologist din psychology din po siya. Pero po siyang book
Opo.
na tinatawag na Blueprint, tawag doon, the peak performance blueprint. Binabanggit niya po doon, one of his proposal, don't just, wag kang masyadong maging busy. Hindi naman ito nagbibigay ng value kung gaano ka busy. Parang gano'n yung sinasabi niya.
Mm.
Ah, ano po yung kaibahan nito sa binabanggit niyo po sa atin ngayon? Based po dito sa
Yung busy.
yung pagka-busy po hindi nagba-value ng nagbibigay ng
I,
value ng ating kahalagahan. Parang
yeah, I would use the word quality. Yung bang busy na quality. Hindi lang yung getting busy, but a quality, may purpose. At saka a balance na pagka-busy dahil ah, hindi lang yung busy na neglected na yung family. Anyway, on this stage na, sa 7 kasi between 40 to 65, presume na yung mga anak natin, malaki na. Mga, anong ilang taon na ba kayo, brother?
40 po bro.
You are just at you are just sunrise of this thing.
Bata pa.
Oh, bata pa. Pero ang it is presumed din na ganito, yung bang mga anak natin malalaki na, they are on their own na, basta ang na quality at saka balance. Yan. Something, doing something, getting busy, something that really make a difference, make an impact, sabihin natin, touching others, and then make us feel na fulfilled tayo. Yan. So, hindi ko nabasa ang book na yun, pero I think na-presume ko lang na itong label na ito nasa advanced na number 7 level na. Pag ginagawa natin ito sa early year, mga 18 to 40, parang maaaring ma-overlook, ma-neglected natin yung mas mahalaga. Pero anyway, itong busy doing the Lord's work talaga in general.
Yes po. Thank you bro.
Thanks sa question mo, napagkuhan yun. Talagang it brings us home to the point na it's not just getting busy, but it is doing things with quality and fulfillment.